All right, so the stream is live. It's showing live on my end. I'm just going to check Instagram first. Then we'll get started. It also shows us how many people are in here throughout the conversation. So,
Oh yeah.
yes, I'm not too sure if you can see it on your end, but I'm able to see a counter. Let's see. It's not showing Instagram just yet. It's usually sometimes it takes a second. I see X, Twitter, see
Twitter too. Oh,
YouTube.
sick.
Yeah, it's gonna go to Twitter as well. Oh, is it live? Sometimes it's just hard to tell because like I'm on unearthly socials.
Oh yeah, no.
All right. Okay, cool. So show
So
my
like
preview.
some intro music.
Yeah, I know. I was like, my phone want to play all these artists. Let me calm down. Okay, so we are live. We are live on all platforms. Perfection. Alex, thank you so much for joining us today.
Oh,
So
just honored to
excited
be here.
So excited to kick this conversation off. My Instagram wants to play one of my favorite artists over and over. So we're gonna play you later. We're gonna play her later. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and get started. If you have any questions for Alex throughout the conversation, you can go ahead and drop them in the comments section on the platform that you're joining us live from. I will be checking the comments on Instagram, but if you do comment on YouTube or Twitter, it should pull in so I can see them and even show them on screen. So definitely add your comments, add your feedback throughout the conversation. I see a few people joining live in the room, so we're gonna go ahead and just kick it off and stay on time. I'm gonna stay on time today, y'all. Look at me not running on CP time today. So let's just start with some introductions. But to kick it off, I always want to say first, thank you for everyone joining us live tonight. And then to everyone catching the replay, thank you so much for catching us live later on. We are back for episode 3 of Unearthly Studios Industry Trailblazer Chats, where we shine a light on incredible trailblazers across music, arts, and entertainment. This is episode 3, y'all. So we have a stacked lineup coming later, but I'm so excited for our next special guest, Alex. You have been on my radar as soon as I came up with this idea for this series. I already had a list of like 10 people that I'm like, I'm just going to shoot my shot. I'm just going to ask them if they want to come on and join me for a conversation. You're one of them. So thank you so much for joining us today. So I'll go ahead and most people know me, but I'm going to pass the mic to you so you can do introductions in just a second. But for anyone who is new here and who may be joining us for the first time, my name is Jazz Jackson. I'm the founder and CEO of Unearthly Studios. We are an innovative digital marketing agency. We also focus on artist development and management as well. I'm an artist manager in A&R, so I know I have a lot of Twitter friends. So y'all know you see me there interacting with the music community. It's a fun time. And yeah, I work with a variety of artists. They're all in the hip hop space. So I am a big hip hop girly myself. It's probably the genre I listen to the most, other than Afro beats at this time. So I love it. I'm going to pass the mic over to Alex so he can introduce himself, and then we'll just kick it off with some of the questions we have for you today.
No, for sure. Honestly, thank you so much for having me. It's a true honor, and you know, I'm just so happy to be here and blessed by your presence. So thank you for that.
Of course, of course. No, so glad to have you. So, can you do a little quick introduction,
Hmm?
introduce yourself, maybe share like a little bit about where you're from, and we'll dive into how you got your start within music and creative as well too.
No, absolutely. So my name is Alex. I'm the creator of a hip hop and R&B platform called TheHipHopGuru. Our We've been around since 2016. When I first created the platform, it was to be an artist discovery platform, finding artists on SoundCloud, and I just go on every single day, like just out of passion. I had no like background in the music industry, and I just wanted to find artists that I like to listen to and really just post them so that there was a platform for people to have their voice heard. And then over time, I did a lot of like trial and error, like no background in journalism or anything, but I wanted to put a platform to put a positive light on the music industry, because there's so much that has a kind of like for interactions and stuff to get people talking. There's a lot that goes on to really just showcase even the news side, So I wanted to do something that showcased like the business side and the positive things that people were saying, and just something to share people's stories.
I love that. No, like, and I'm so happy I found your platform as well. I'm always looking for like cool media platforms to follow. And you and your team, you have the pulse on everything going on, because I do not. So I just will go and be like, oh, I know they're gonna have something about something. So, and y'all are quick. Y'all are quick. You're you're doing so many great things, and I know you have a team around you as well, helping you on your side. And I know you said you've been around since 2016. So I'm sure you have had quite a journey in music. Did you always know, like growing up, did you always know like you wanted to work within music? Was it something that you stumbled into accidentally? Yeah, I always ask that question because I know even if
It's a good
folks
question.
aren't artists, but they work within music and creative, like they have that musical, like those roots that came
Hmm.
when they were younger, when they were a child, or like, hey, I always knew I wanted to do something in this.
Hmm. So growing up, honestly, like I had such a love for music, always going to buy the CDs, and one of my favorite things was opening the CD and seeing like the song list, and reading who produced it and seeing all the credits and like the photos inside of it and the cool artwork. And I don't know if I necessarily knew always that I'd be in music, but it's what it pulled me. So I was able to go towards it because that was something that I'm blessed to be able to be within the space for. And looking back, I spent a lot of money on CDs growing up, so I'm happy that I'm able to be within the industry because it's just what I love to listen to, and now I'm just blessed to be able to be in the space to do what I like for a living.
No, it's such a blessing. I say that every single day to, and also too, to be able to create something from nothing and like to have a vision for something. At first, usually only you can see it. It's in your head. You're like,
Mhm.
I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna bring it to life, which is why I'm so inspired by other artists, by other creatives, by other entrepreneurs. None
Mhm.
of it is, easy. There's a capital E and effort that goes into building anything.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
your team has, y'all have been doing it. Um, my
I
next
know.
question was, I was going to
Yeah.
ask you too, before I dive into more of the music questions.
Mhm.
What are some of, like, I know music is near and dear, it's your entire, probably a big part of your life, and just kind of being able to follow your journey for a while. I know you like to travel, you have other interests and hobbies. What are some of the other things that either light you up or you're inspired by outside of music?
It's a good question. When I was younger, I always had a dream. I thought I'd be a basketball player, but I was not good enough. So, I still get to have the pretending that I'm in the NBA through NBA 2K. So they don't sponsor me, but shout out to them. But growing up, just honestly, that's a good question. I'm not too sure. That's a good question. What hobbies? I honestly, I get music is my hobby, so I get to do it from when I wake up until I go to sleep. So other than that, I just stay around that.
No, I love it when the passion, when it, like when you have that passion and it doesn't even feel like work. Like that's how you know, like at least for me, when you're in alignment, when you can wake up every day, and if it's, I always say, like if it's what you would be doing if like money wasn't the factor, or like if you weren't being paid for it, if you know, like, okay, no, I know I still would be working like in music or in this capacity or doing something similar, like then I feel, you're exactly where you're supposed to be.
Oh, for sure. And it's tough because trying to do stuff where when you have a vision, it's not going to happen overnight. So it's like I say, like you're only crazy until it works, and then you're a genius, right? So it might take, like, success can be a 10-year plan. So, and a lot of people will tell you at the beginning, it's not a good idea, it's not realistic, but you really have to believe in yourself and think that it's possible, because you're the only one that can motivate yourself to really push yourself to the next level. And if you even have an idea that you're not going to be able to make it, then there's always going to be a bump in the road.
That resonates so much. And I was like, I know you'll probably resonate with this, but that pep talk you have to give yourself probably nearly every single day, like
Daily.
where it's just like, whoo, today might be a day, but I'm a rest. I'm gonna get up tomorrow. I'm gonna do it again, and just be truly relentless in the pursuit of your dreams. It's like what we're doing, and it's not easy. And I love these conversations because it does help the community. I know my community is filled with artists, with creatives, entrepreneurs doing their own thing, and there are those daily struggles, the daily challenges, but if you have the vision, it's on you to see it through, because I always say, like, there's seasons for everything in life,
Yeah.
and especially in entrepreneurship, where it's like, it's not always up and up. Sometimes some seasons, some valleys, you end for a little bit, and you got to be able to still hold firm on that North Star of like, no, I still see
That's
the
the
vision.
truth. No, right? Because especially with social media, because you only see what people share, right? So if somebody shares like a win, nobody's really gonna show like the steps of like failure that it took to them to get to where they're at. So it's like, and you're very, it's you, but there's no win without losses. So you have to celebrate each step of the journey and just appreciate where you're at, because it takes a long time to get there.
Yeah, it sure does. I always tell people I feel like I'm a toddler all over again as a business owner, and it's a whole thing. I'm just like, dang. The more I learn, the more I realize I don't know that much. I got so much more to learn, or so much more to do better, or like to continue to amplify. And I know with the realm, or in the industry that we're in, it's like, it's not just one thing you have to learn how to do well. There's a bunch of different things you have to learn how to do well to bring your vision to life, whether it's like, oh, I have my craft and like I'm honing in on that, whether for me, I'm like a marketing girly, but even within marketing, I was like, I don't even like to say the word expert. I'm like, I'm an enthusiast, because I'm always learning more every single day. And social continues to evolve daily at this point. The platforms need to stop changing. But it's a fun journey to be in that spot. But it's like a testament of like, no, there's so much to learn. You gotta be in seasons where it's like, it's okay to be a beginner. It is okay to be a beginner, and you're gonna be a beginner so many times that like,
Yep.
I've had to learn, especially in my own journey, like, get used to being a beginner and being not the best at something right away. And then like, that Kobe mentality is just in me, where it's just like, I'm just going to wake up every day and just shoot a shot, shoot another shot. I'm going to still keep shooting the shots and practice and prepare.
Oh, for sure. And I love that reference, because like even after every single game, Kobe would go and still put up shots, no chance. Like they'd be up, what, 2-0 in what was that clip? He's like, job's not finished. And it's like, you're this far into the playoffs, are you going to celebrate? And he's like, why celebrate? The job's not finished.
It's not finished. Yeah, I just saw that clip the other day. That's crazy reference, because I think about it on my hard days. I'm like, Jazz, you gonna wipe these tears, but the job's not done yet. And I think for me too, we do see, like, so I say all the time, social media is just everybody's highlight reel. So
Yeah.
it's like people are only showing the glitz, the glam, the results. So something that I'm really challenging myself to do as I grow my platforms is to show more of the daily. And it's not always fun. It's often boring and tedious, but you gotta get good at doing the boring things really well to be successful. That's all I know.
Oh, absolutely. And that's the awesome thing about the internet, because there's so much information available. You can really look up anything you want and kind of have an idea of like a groundwork of like a learning foundation. I mean, for me, with my platform, most of the stuff that I've learned, I've kind of been able to just go on YouTube or something like that and kind of get a tutorial and learn how to use a certain application. And then just over time, something works, something doesn't work, and then just grow based on, trial and error.
Yeah. And growing your own media company, what were some of those skill sets you had to learn on the come up? Was it like, hey, I need to like learn how to use social, or was like, what is marketing? How do I do it? What are some of the things you kind of looked up to hone in on your craft?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So I have like a background. I went to school for marketing, but like I really had to learn how to do branding, like the logo, learn how to do like use like Adobe programs, learn how to use like editing stuff and how to do social media, how to create like a template for a post, how to, do outreach and like just every level of, and then reaching like a label, how to communicate with labels and stuff like that. And it's just everything that I've learned, really. It's just been truly through trial and error, and there's a lot of steps that I really failed, so it's like I like to, and I have like um it's every now and then I always like to change my goal list, but I always like to look back on times that I where I started, right? Because if I compare what I've done to somebody else, maybe in the same industry, comparison is the thief of joy. So it's like I just have to be happy with what I have and always push to the next level.
Yeah, so true. Comparison is definitely the thief of joy. I've had to stop like scrolling on social, like as other than using it for work. Like I'm very intentional with my social because it's y'all, it's my entire life. A little too much. But you get it. So like I've had to
You
like
scroll on
stop the
TikTok and then some
scrolling.
flowers.
See, me and TikTok, y'all. I have kudos to everybody on TikTok. I mean, I have to deal with TikTok for clients and campaigns and such, but I've been avoiding TikTok for years and feel like, Jazz, you work in social. How are you gonna look? For me, y'all use TikTok while we have it. Um,
How about you
but
though? What,
no,
what social media? How are you able to get as good as you are today?
yeah, for me, I have been working within social for over 10 years, which is crazy to think about. I got my bachelor's in film production and digital media, so I've
It's awesome.
always loved creative. I've always loved visuals, and more than anything, I love storytelling. And that's really what great marketing is. It's just great storytelling, whether you're connecting, like building connections, then building conversations, building community. It all goes back, branding, stories. You get it. So I graduated, and then I was like, it was around like the blogger girl era of social. MySpace was here, Facebook was just getting started, and marketing, like social marketing started to become a thing. So I got in pretty early. Just people like, Jazz, you know video and photography. Can you take some pictures and help us put it on here, on our website, on our blog? So I was even in college and before that in high school, always with a camera in hand, always doing something with creative or marketing, making flyers and graphics. I thought I wanted to be a graphic designer at one point. So I already knew I wanted to go somewhere within that skill set. But then college, I fell in love with like the whole early blogger influencer era. I was like, this is super fun. I mean, I still love film. I'm still creating content, early content creator days. Let me see where this can take me. And it was before like the influencer marketing industry was an industry. Like I was pretty much at the epicenter of the beginnings of it. And I worked at that time. I was living in the Bay Area. I got my start at a really big influencer marketing agency where immediately out of college, I was working with brands like Hydro Flask, Pandora Radio,
It's amazing.
Samsung was my client, Bob's Red Mill. Like I worked with Dove, like CPG brands, pet brands. I got like introduced to working with brands. When you're on the agency, you're outside looking in, so you're not like day to day with the brands. But I got exposed on how to best market everything, anything. Like I can help. I can market pet food. I have marketed car detail cleaners. I have marketed like freaking bacon flour, like anything at this point. I was like, I can market it. So I got my start like, yeah, 10 years ago doing that. And I've spent most of my career up until last year when I left my last 9 to 5 and I went all in on my agency, which is still, I'm like, I'm here, I'm doing it, we building. But I was working with brands even up until last year. Some of my clients were Popeyes, Puma, Samsung, Microsoft, Circle K, and I'm missing one. But those are my core clients. So
Mhm.
I've always been working pretty much on the organic social side. paid marketing's cool, but I'm an organic social girly. And I've worked with obviously some of the biggest brands in the world, but I've also spent so much time as a freelancer working with small businesses. Like I've worked for like a little small Korean skincare boutique for a couple years, which is super fun. I've done a lot of freelance work over my time for so many different ventures. So it's been good. And I think exposing myself to working one at the agency level is completely different than working day to day. Like, oh, I work at Nike and I'm one of their social media coordinators. It is so different working on the agency side where you're responsible for a book of business and millions of dollars in revenue, as I was, and I'm spending brand dollars. So I had to get really good really quick. And being in those roles on the agency side, like there isn't a lot of room for error. So I've also had to like continue to personally develop myself and professionally develop myself, both like on the job and with, oh, a job sends me to this conference or that one, but also taking that onus of myself of like, okay, like every single day I'm reading the latest music biz or social news, or like, oh, Adam posted another creator's video. What are they changing on IG today? So I have my pulse on social and everything that's changing, sometimes too much, but to do the best work for, to grow my own agency, but also to amplify my artists, my clients. I got to stay in the know. So it's a great time being in the media and marketing space. It's changing a lot, but also because so much marketing, as you get it, because you majored in it, it's human psychology. That really hasn't changed. So if you really can understand how to best connect with people and how to like tell stories and how to connect,
oh, absolutely. I'm trying to get on
you'll never be out of a job. I'm just saying.
No. Honestly, you've done so much, and it's truly, I want to be like you when I grow up.
What? I'm trying to be like you, cool kid. You're doing great things. I tell people hosting events, it was never something like, oh my gosh, this is like my zone of genius. But I was like, I had to step out of my comfort zone and just be like, but there's so many great stories and conversations to be had. So we're gonna do this. So no, I'm just so grateful that you've been able to shine a light a little bit on your journey thus far and diving back into kind of like the platform and the team that you're building. I know you work with talented creatives in different cities. How has experience building a team around your own vision? What was there anyone that was with you at the inception or like building from the ground up, or how has like the formation of the team come together over the last few years?
Honestly, I want to say that I'm nothing without my team, and there's a lot of people try to say that there's so much I'll do it all myself, one man show, this and that, but there's only so much you can do at a productive level, and anybody that says that they're currently running a whole thing by themselves is either not sharing the other people's names, or just trying to put them up too much. But all that to say, for the people that are around me, I am just truly so grateful to even have them in my corner, and everybody kind of just was able to be around in a certain time when we needed some help, and because we're new, it's really hard to get things going, so it's more so people are able to believe in a vision, of what we're trying to do, and join teams. So we have like a bunch of people on the team that help and are part of why we are who we are today. And I could name everybody's name, but it's just I could name everybody's name. It's just yeah. But every single person that's ever been part of this, I put so much time into. I'm a little bit like you create something and then you put so much energy into it. It gets so close to you. So for anybody to even want to be part of something that's created in that area, it's just it means more than anything in the world, because somebody sharing your vision is just like one of the most fulfilling, like happiest feelings. And I'm rambling on about this right now, but
you don't make me cry, because I was like, I feel like I'm in that I'm in that space myself, and it's so like I'm so humbled like that people, like even for when I'm building myself, like, oh, people see it, people believe in it, my artists believe in me, like to know that my artists believe in me, my team believes in me, my clients are putting their trust in me. I tell people, it's like, I never take any of it for granted because, like, like, I always say, like, being a creator, whether you're an artist, like, whether you paint, whether you sing, whether you dance, whether you write, if you're creating something, it is the most rewarding and most difficult thing you'll ever do. So when you are doing the work and you're setting a foundation and then other people see it and they want to be part of that vision, be part of that mission, like, that's when you're building something real and something raw, especially when your team works just as hard, if not harder than you, like, in so many capacities, like the ride or die for the vision. And your team's doing great work. I know you have people spread out in different places, so it's been great. I know community is at the core of everything that y'all are building.
Oh, absolutely. And it's tough at the beginning, right? Because you work on something by yourself so long and you're just like, am I doing the right thing? Should I keep on, putting energy into this? Is it going to work in the long run? And then to see somebody else kind of say, yes, I want to do that too. It's like, okay, it gives you extra energy because then you have motivation. You actually have something to work off of, and, there's actually momentum.
Yeah, that's so true. I'm at that stage of growth / breakthrough / if I don't delegate more stuff out, I'm not gonna be able to do my best work. So I'm also at that point of like hiring and building my team out. And yeah, you can do a lot, but to really build and to be able to scale a vision, it does take a team of people around you who believe in it. So kudos to you and the team. Like, shout out to y'all doing the work.
More so the team, not me. Yeah.
Yeah, they busy because, like I said, I see all the content, and I know you have the second platform as well too. So you have like the TheHipHopGuru, and then there's a second Instagram account as well. So y'all have what, 2 platforms? Are there more?
So originally, I used to post on Twitter a lot, and during the copyright time, I lost my account. So then I wanted to create a second page, just so that I had the username with it. But then I was like, you know what? We started doing original content because before it was just all news related stuff, and then started doing original content. And then I was like, I want to create a second page just to house all the original stuff. So now, like, on the TV page, it's clips from interviews, our super talented team of photographers who are going to shows and taking photos, and then we just collaborate, post both of them so that, they live on both platforms.
Yeah, no,
yeah.
Yeah, I was wondering. I was like, that's what I thought it was. It was split it was split and divided, but just wanted to ask, since I have you on the call today.
Oh, absolutely. Ask away.
So diving into more of the work that your team has been doing and some of the incredible artists you've been able to interview. That includes like Aaron Bellinger. I know you recently had an interview go live with Kevin Gates. You've interviewed Jordan Ward. So many talented rising superstars that I've like had on my radar. So I've loved seeing these conversations come to life. For you, I know you do some of the interviews yourself as well. Do you have a favorite interview that you've had, that you've been a part of, that you brought to life, or like, hey, I learned or had this cool takeaway from this interview? What's been one that's really stood out to you?
That's a good question, actually. So for me, it's St. John, because for the first 5 years of the platform, I actually didn't show my face or tell people who I was, because I wanted more so the content to speak for itself without having like a face behind the brand. So the St. John interview was actually one of the first times ever I'd actually done an in-person interview. So I was really, obviously I was really nervous, right? And I wasn't sure if I was doing the right thing with the questions or anything like that. But then I with the interview, I always like to ask people about their story first and then get into the music after, because I see a lot of questions that are like very like scripted or like repetitive. And that one we ended up doing in the hotel lobby of a hotel in Toronto. And it was supposed to be in a room. Then we ended up doing a lobby, and things just clicked. And it gave me the confidence to be able to tell myself, this is something I'm going to be able to do in the long run. And that one, long story short, that was probably the most important one to get me to continue doing them by myself. And then after that, there's cool one. We did one with Jesse Reyes. One of my favorite ones also was with Josh Levi. because then that was like super personal. And then he has such an incredible story, and he's done so much in his life, and he's still so young. So it's like asking all those steps, and getting really to the understanding of how people became who they are, and then how the music followed is what I really like to personally watch. So to be able to talk to people about it is just, I zone out when I do interviews, and I just let the conversation flow.
Yes, no, and y'all have some pretty significant interviews that you have done throughout the year. So I know I haven't caught all of them. I have been spending a lot of time on your YouTube channel, increasing your watch time over the last few months. But no, there's been several that I know I've gone back to. I know I was rewatching the one with Flo Milli not that long ago as well. Freaking character, just love that girl.
Really
so that,
nice, actually. Yeah.
I was like, I can't wait to meet my girl. It's gonna happen one day. But nah, like she's just someone who her authenticity just shines, and just to be able to listen to that interview was great. But there's so many that are on there that I'm like, I have a folder of some I'm gonna come back to, because the great thing about what you're building, and why I love obviously storytelling and media, is it's all timeless. Conversations are timeless. There are going to be people who are still obviously, discovering these artists, who are going to want to learn more about them, about their journeys, about their experiences, the cheeky little things that people don't really know about them. And the way your interviews are structured too, y'all ask very thoughtful and fun questions too. So now you guys have some really great interviews that y'all have been doing. So is there anything, I know y'all have the pulse on so many artists and creatives coming up. Do you have anything you specifically look for as you're like, okay, here's who we want to interview next? Or are you looking at, okay, here's an artist that has been creating a lot of momentum for themselves, or is creating a lot of buzz on social? Or do you and your team kind of like crowdsource together and choose and vote? How does like choosing who is featured on the platform, how does that kind of come to life?
That's a good question. Honestly, at the beginning of the page, I wanted to always make it that, because I'm it's not like I'm anybody of relevance, even, just some dude who created a page. But my thing was always never to look at numbers, because numbers mean nothing. An Instagram account can be deleted the next day, a Twitter account, or like YouTube, whatever it is. So it's always just based on the sound and, the how people are, like if they're good people, so it's like we'll have a conversation based on that, so. And then some of the label artists are pretty cool too, so like that's sweet. But like we started a new series a couple years ago. It was like the mic drop, and we stopped doing, like I stopped posting music on YouTube, and then I wanted to bring it back, so we did like in studio performances, like live song recording. So that was pretty sweet. But for who we choose, it's really just based on kind of momentum and quality of music and in the story, really, because at the end of the day, it's more so the person's story versus, and then the story first and then the music after.
Yeah, no, I love that story first. No, so important, so important. I was wondering, I always am like, I'm curious about how are they picking and choosing, and you hit on a good note, and that's something I always keep in mind is, and it comes from a Tyler Perry quote when he's like, never despise humble beginnings, and I stick with that one for myself because I know where I'm going. I'm like, there's not little about none I'm building, but also too, in the same way, I'm very much like, I don't care about numbers or followers. I feel like what I love most about being an A&R is, my favorite thing to do is find someone that has like 0 monthly listeners. Like it's their first single ever. They might not have no visuals. It's just raw, like either on a DSP or SoundCloud or something. And to follow artists through their journey and how they build, it's so rewarding, and how they build from the ground up. I've been telling people, I was like, I've been in A&R like undercover for like way too many years, looking at my Spotify playlist, and I'm like, oh, I've been finding people. I've been had the pulse and the ear for music, but I just love it because I have literally seen some of my favorites go from, and I've been at some of these shows where it's like me and 15, 20 other people in the crowd, and it's very humble beginnings, you know, and then a year later, 2 years later, maybe it took 3, but now, you know, they're successful in their own right and they built, you know, the career that they've wanted for themselves, whether they got signed or they're doing things independently. It's
absolutely.
crazy to see, and it's so rewarding to like be on the ground level, which is why I am just, my favorite thing to say is like brick by brick, step by step, day by day, and I repeat it to myself.
Yeah.
I know you
That's
say it too. I was like, look, you get it. I was like, this is why I knew there was a reason why I had to have you on this chat today. But we have very similar mentalities. I can tell by that, and just you inspire me because I'm so early in so many ways in my journey, especially building an agency. I'm not even in my year, like I'm still in the first year of building an agency, and I've had to really humble myself throughout this process, and like you said, like not
why.
compare my journey to any others, and just really be like, yeah, just to be like, no, my journey is so unique to me, and as long as I just brick by brick, step by step, day by day, what is one thing I did that got me 1% better, or I moved the needle in this way today, and just like focusing there. So I really resonate with artists so much, and why I'm so passionate about even artist development, because I know it takes time. And with my team, I knew I had the enthusiasm, I have like the quote unquote expertise, say that word loosely, to where I could have tried to join a more established or more quote unquote successful artist team that may have had more movement or momentum already. But there's something so fulfilling about knowing that you really took the time and you learned and you went through the highs and the lows, and you built something that has, like, I'm so like crucial, like my foundation has to be strong, and just knowing
For
that I'm
sure.
able to do that not only through building my own businesses, but to also help to guide others to, you know, achieve, you can achieve your full potential too, no matter what that looks like for you. But you know,
Especially working with artists early on, right? Because like artist management, you really have to be 100% into the artist's career before even sometimes they believe it, right?
Oh, for sure, and to also like to be able to, like, as I say, the vision's everything. I know for me, I have like a whole package about it where I go into brand and vision work with artists, but I have to, for me to work with an artist either as a client or anyone that's like on my team, I'm like, I need to know your vision. No, you need to know your vision first, and then you have to be able to articulate your vision to me so I can help you, because there's so much with artist development, artist management. The realms coexist at this point, it feels like. But in both of the capacities, it's like you have to understand how to take an artist from where they are, know where they want to go, and all the magic is right in the middle of like, okay, how do I help bridge this gap? So I think as someone in our space, you really are connecting the dots most of the time. It's just like, okay, how do I connect this dot to get to this? And then also reverse engineering the magic is something that I coined. Don't take it, y'all. But reverse engineering the magic to, yeah, right. I'm about to. I gotta stop playing. The internet's quick. But I had to like really just be very clear on just really how I see my vision, and also how to get my artists, my team, my clients where they want to go. So I'm like, if I know your vision, I can help connect the dots. So for like the A&R space, I'm like, you have to really know how to reverse engineer the magic. And if an artist is like, oh, Jazz, I really want to secure a festival opportunity by the end of the year, I'm like, okay, that's great. So where are we currently at? Where do you want to go? Where's the gap? Like, okay, how do we reverse engineer it? Because if you haven't been on the festival stage, maybe we got to do some other things before to get you there. We can get you there.
Sure.
So I think like that's so much what I love to do too, is help connect those dots for artists, for my clients.
Yeah,
it's fun to me.
That's the rewarding part. And people forget too. People think like, oh, you sign to a label and then immediately you can go into like a festival stage. But it's like you have to climb the steps, you know, because it's like if you go on a stage and there's like 10,000 people, you know, you're gonna get stage fright. If anybody goes on a stage in front of that many people, it's gonna be tough. But like seeing artists perform at smaller venues sometimes is the best show you'll ever go to, because the energy, you know, the crowd engagement, the amount like emceeing the crowd, you know, it's like that's That's awesome. But let me ask you, what was the full circle moment for you that you stopped and you said, you know what, this is the point that I know that I'm doing this as my career for my full time?
Oh, that's a great question. I know you're great at interviewing people. I could tell. Um, for me, it's interesting. I knew I wanted to launch my own agency. At first, I thought it was going to be more just like a visual production company, going back to my film background and honing it back in there to, bring projects to life that I believe in. And then 2019, I was in the Bay Area, and a lot of people don't know this about me. Because people are just like, Jazz, you talk to everybody. I have so much social anxiety. It's not even funny. And people can never tell. But so I didn't go to a lot of concerts growing up. I didn't really have the opportunity to do so. So I kind of got my start going to concerts pretty late. I don't think I started going to concerts consistently until like 2018. So I did not like love music, was always doing stuff. But growing up, I was raised by my grandparents, so they didn't really have the capacity to always chauffeur us to those sorts of things. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I didn't go to a
Shout
lot of
out to the
concerts growing
grandparents.
up. Yeah, shout out to them. They had me. They raised me right on great music, so I love them. But I didn't really go to concerts a lot until like college. So when I was in the Bay Area, everyone comes through the Bay at some point. So I was just like, okay, I'm gonna get over the social anxiety. I'm gonna go to concerts. I'm gonna start trying this out. And then that year, I went to like 40 shows. I'm not even kidding. I was at a
You
concert
went from
every
none
week.
to 40? That's
Yes.
crazy.
And then the world shut down the next year. So it was a great time because I was like,
Well,
whew, after I
you,
could sit down.
I
Because
got that out of my system.
I was a little too outside. And now we're going to get to the fact that I haven't really been to a show in a while later. But I just was going to shows every single week. And it was really smaller shows, like $15, $20 tickets. Like I said, a lot of artists were on my radar and they're like performing for their first or second show in the city. So it's a smaller venue. So my anxiety was better. It was better. And then I also went to Rolling Loud that year and realized I'm never doing that again. No
That
Rolling
crazy.
Louds for me. It was too much. It's too many people running around.
Festivals are tough, especially with the stage changes where people are going from one to the other and they know one person's performing. They're like, damn, I want to see both. It's like,
I was like, that's too chaotic for me, the festivals. But now I'm just like, darn, Jazz, you work in music. Your artists are gonna be at festivals. You got to go now. I was like, yeah, but I'm gonna be backstage. I'm not doing the crowd stuff.
yeah.
But yeah, so I was going to a lot of shows, and at that time, obviously working in marketing, working in music, it was around when TikTok first started as a platform. So it was like 2019, where everyone's like, Jazz, TikTok, what's this TikTok thing? Um, how do you use this? How do you use that? So I had friends who are artists and were in the Bay Area, so they always came to me with their questions anyway for marketing or social. How do I amplify my release? And then I'm like on Google like music plus marketing, and I'm like, oh, this is a whole thing. Of course it's a thing. Of course artists need help marketing their music. So that's when I started kind of doing the research into like what would that path look like? Did I want to join a label, go that route? Did I want to join like a different team? I was like, I definitely had the skill sets to where it's like, oh, I could definitely find a job at a label as a digital marketer or on a creative team somewhere for sure. But you
Mhm.
know me, I never do anything that's the easier route. Got to build my own darn agency. And
That's the best path.
I was also at the point in my career where I had worked, 10 years up the corporate ladder. I worked with some of the biggest brands in the world, but there was also that piece of fulfillment that was missing for me. So I was like, okay, I'm so great at what I do. I love what I do. I'm so passionate about marketing and creative and telling stories. I just don't feel like I'm making the impact I'm destined to make here in this role. And then for me, it's because I've worked on the brand side, I've worked on the agency side, I've done freelance. Like 10 years, you see a lot, you do a lot. And I was like, the next step for me is to work for myself.
Yep.
So that's when I started building the foundation for Unearthly Studios. And that was 2019 when I started the vision for it. For reference, I didn't launch the agency until 2023. So like 29, like all of COVID was my market research time. Literally, the reason I'm so tapped in with the Rise in artist community on Twitter is because all I did during the course of the pandemic. the height of it was just talk to artists on Twitter and really get to know them, ask questions, ask conversations. So many virtual coffee chats. I challenged myself to 3 a week, to where I was like, okay, I'm just going to connect with artists. I'm going to connect with industry professionals, creatives, just get to know people. I was like, we're all at home anyway. This is the best time to get people on a call. So everyone said yes. So I just started to build a foundation. It was around like 2021 that I started like dropping gems on Twitter for marketing. So a lot more, that's where I gained most of my following. I've been less dropping gems lately, y'all, but I'll be back. But grew a lot that way. I got a lot of gems to share, and I've learned a lot, y'all. I've learned a lot. But artists started just reaching out to me for like, hey, Jez, I have this question, and then I'm like, okay, I really got to figure out something because I love y'all. I'm answering the questions, but I got to structure this somehow. So I was like, let me get real serious about launching an agency. I got locked in with the first artist that I started working with on the artist development side, Seth, and there are a couple other artists like CA The Don, Jai Winner. There were a few artists that I worked with like 2022, pretty early, to where it's like, I've managed $1 million campaigns. I could manage an artist. I could definitely do this. So I just started to lock in with the artists on the development side and say, hey, this is something that's newer for me, but I can do anything. So I can figure it out. Let's lock in. Let's lock in. Let's see. Let's see what we can do. And that's how we started the build. So I manage a few artists now. Currently the roster's at 3, and that's where it's staying for a while. But yeah, it's been a great time building from the ground up. Like with my artist Seth, we've been building for like over 2 years now together. And then my other artist, JR, it's been over a year. And then I just added a new artist to the roster, Pat Jr., a couple weeks ago? So I'm very much expanding slowly on the development and management side because, y'all, it's a lot of time. It's a lot of moving pieces. It's a lot of organization, but it's fun. But that's kind of how I got locked. That's how I got locked in the journey. It's been a journey.
Management is tough. I tried it for a bit, and it's people think it's all like fun and games, but there's so many components that you have to work towards. It's not just going to the shows, it's not just like picking up phone calls. It's, you have to be 24/7 locked in. So to manage 3 artists, successfully, that's a huge thing. So kudos to you.
Well, y'all, it's okay. I'm definitely building my team. Get me some help. Especially as things are starting to take off and, launching the agency. I'm not a solopreneur. It's an agency for a reason. We'll definitely be building a team with other incredible A&Rs and managers as we grow. But, really taking the time to build and to honor that space. And, I know there are some management companies that have a lot more artists that, are on their rosters or on their team. But I luckily for me, blessed for me, I know my capabilities and capacity to do great work. And it takes time. Like artist development is truly human development and great. And I say this to my artists, greatness cannot be rushed. So while we do the work to be consistent and to serve our fans with frequency, you don't rush greatness. So I love that mentality I have, especially as an artist manager. Like my team knows, like I will be on them and I'll like, hey, gotta follow up on this or do that. But at the same time, if they tell me like, hey, I have this going on, or I want to take a break from this just to focus on that, I was like, we work on it. I was like, at the end of the day, all the great music's gonna come from you living your life, from you becoming and evolving into your best self and taking seasons for whatever you need, whether it's, hey, this season's just for creating, this season's for showing up, showing out, whatever that may look like. But artist management, it's interesting. I feel like the world needs more great artist managers. So that's what I'm hoping to do over here.
You're going to save it.
Yes. Gonna do it. All right. So I have like one more question for you. There are a couple questions that came in via the comments as well that I saw. So we'll do our little Q&A in just a second. I got some on IG, and then some people submitted questions prior for you. I did a poll on IG stories as well. So yeah, people have questions for you. But one of my last questions that I had for you was kind of what is what is next for the Hip Hop Guru? Or do y'all have any exciting projects you're working on that are coming up that you can share, that you can talk about? Anything brewing behind the scenes?
That's a great question. So we have a couple interviews releasing soon. Two I could probably say are Honey Baby and Sad Boy, and then after that, then John Vinyl, and then
all my favorites. Okay.
yeah, no, everybody like that's the funny thing too. I used to think that people would be like super like mean, but like mean everybody, every single, it's so nice. Everybody's just so nice, you know. So it's like it's awesome. And then after that, we have a new series releasing that I can't say too much yet, but it's gonna be really crazy, and people are gonna say, "How in the world did they do that?" And who's who's uh, who's the one behind this kind of thing. So that one's gonna be nuts. I could tell you after.
Cannot wait.
And then also I want to start doing like festivals and stuff, you know, so like artist showcases and bring the city together, and then start going to different cities and
Yeah.
just create more shows and stuff that people can learn from, and different fun activity shows, and just like producer shows too, because I think producers, even like only artists get the love in the industry, but there's so many more people that go together and that make the show run on. So I want to give everybody their shine, and then really kind of just make it into like a big network, so that it's not just like one small trending page anymore. It's kind of like a household name. So that's the goal. Kind of every day try to make that goal more and more, like pulling a rope to bring it closer and closer. So that's trying to reach that level. And then for me, just learn every day, just people that I look up to, influences, just learn more, because I'm not the smartest person in the world, but I do want to, continue to absorb information, because, you can lose money, but you can never lose your knowledge. So I just want to continue learning.
Y'all, like PSA, applied knowledge is power. You got to apply it though. I'd be saying apply it. You got to apply it. But no, knowledge truly is power. I know you had reference earlier in our conversation, just taking that onus on you to like, hey, I don't know how to do this, but I'm gonna figure it out. Whether that's, hey, I gotta watch this YouTube video or take a course, or hey, shoot my shot and ask this person a question. Like, just putting in the work to truly learn is so important. And I know I tell that to artists all the time. Don't pay the ignorance tax. And I cannot remember who said that to me or what podcast I watch. It's not my words. See, I don't complain to what's not mine, y'all. But it's like, don't pay the ignorance tax of like, you will, your whole life, you will pay the ignorance tax of not knowing how to do something. Mm-hmm. And like, there's so many people, and this is just like a fact of, there's so many people like living within their own limitations, are like, hey, well, I don't know how to do that. I was like, okay, well, how are we going to figure out how to do it then? So knowledge is power.
That's the important part too, right? Because everybody wants to be so perfect and think that there's no room for failure. But, if you tell people, I don't know how to do this, I'd like to learn, or you say, I want to get into this, people are not reserved. People want to help, because it's like they see some of their journey and what you try to do. So like, and that's the part, like asking for help, you never know who's going to say yes too, right? So you could learn a lot from a situation where you just reached out, even on a message, and said, hey, do you mind giving me some advice? And that might change your life. So you never know what'll happen if you just shoot your shot, kind of thing.
I'm the queen of shooting my shot now. I used to be so scared of it. Now I just do it all day long. Yeah. I was like, here's my thing. Y'all are either going to not respond to me, or you're going to say no, but I'm still going to ask.
That's right. The worst somebody will say is nothing, so it's like, whatever. It's like, okay.
Yeah, like if I wasn't willing to shoot my shot, I wouldn't have this agency. I wouldn't be working with my artists. I wouldn't have gotten helping them get the opportunities that we've been able to secure. Like, it all comes from shooting your shot, taking the time to just ask a question, to build relationships. And I tell everyone this, but closed mouths do not get fed. And that's oftentimes true. There are so many more people willing to help you if only you would ask. My
Absolutely.
DMs are filled, and I still take time to ask, like, answer people's questions if it's a quick one, and I can do a quick voice now. I'll answer it. But there are so many more people that are just like, I see the complaints on the socials of there's no one to help and XYZ, and for whatever barrier there might be for them. But I'm like, closed mouths don't get fed. You're gonna have to really figure this out. You're gonna have to want to figure it out. And I just feel very strongly there's a reason why a lot of people don't, quote unquote, make it. And it really comes down to one, like, accountability of like, okay, I don't know how to do this, but I'm gonna effing figure it out. But also
Mhm.
two, taking the time to like learn knowledge, learn what you don't know so you can become better. And entrepreneurship's interesting, and I know you know this, but even for artists, I'm like, the moment that you decided that you wanted to become an artist and the moment that you decided you wanted to earn a living and monetize your art, like, that's when you're a business.
Yeah,
You're a
yeah.
business, and you have to have a completely different mentality, a completely different hat that you put on or outsource and build a team around you to help do those roles. But even at the beginning, like, as an artist, like, you are business now. Like, if your goal
Oh,
is to
for
eventually
sure.
earn a living and monetize, you can't just think with your artist creative hat on. It's like,
Mhm.
okay, I'm great at my craft, but what else do I need to learn?
Oh, for
Okay,
sure.
I don't
Yeah.
understand branding or marketing, or like, how do I effectively network and build relationships? How do
Hmm.
I do the legal and tax stuff because I have an LLC that I started and didn't do anything with? Like,
And
there's all these different
that's
things.
important too, because they don't tell you if you miss a tax year, you might be in trouble, right?
They sure
And
don't.
that's one of those things you can't really forget, So
It's
you
like a
gotta.
completely different mindset and skills you have to continue to develop. So I always encourage everyone listening, anyone catching the replay, knowledge is power. Go get you some and do it in whatever way it works for you. I'm a podcast girly. All I do is listen to podcasts and learn all day. So why I love music. I can't listen
Mhm.
to music all day because I gotta learn. I gotta learn, y'all. So it's just one of those things. Knowledge is power. Knowledge is power. But yeah, so final question before we get into these few Q&A questions that came in.
Mhm.
To close it out, what is like one or two pieces of actionable advice or gems you would give to rising artists and creatives along their journey?
That's a great question. That is a great question. I think that I think the most important thing is really to create music that you want to hear, right? Because there's music that is trying to be like somebody else. Obviously, it's good to. And I'm not the best person for advice because I've personally never made music, but just based on listening to music, it's like the most the best music really is something that's true to somebody's story, and everybody has such a unique story. It's important to always do what you like and always progress, because nobody wants to be put in a box, and you never know when one feeling like Kanye's 808s, right? That was based on a feeling, and it was
Yep.
made within a certain time frame of being very close, but that album had such an impact on the whole industry and how music was created and how different sounds were made and so on. So really just believe in yourself and make what you want to hear, and don't do what somebody else is trying to do, because that's not true to you, right?
No, that's so true. I love that. And I feel like that's something every artist can hear again and again and again and to go back to. Make what you love, and your music will reach the right people that it's meant to connect with. I truly believe that. So, and there's
Absolutely.
something for everybody. There is something
Yeah.
for everybody out here these days. So make what is true to you. And also too, like, don't be afraid to experiment, to evolve, to
Of
try different
course.
things out if you feel called to do that. I feel like I always tell artists that as well. Don't box yourself in. Don't create a box for yourself. I promise you, yeah, quote unquote, the world might try to put you in one, but there are no boxes. I don't believe in
Oh, straight
boxes.
up.
I
And
be
that's
I be ripping them apart.
yeah, boxes are meant to be open. That's the other thing too, right? Because and don't take advice from somebody and that, because anybody could be on the internet just writing something, and most of the time the nastiest reviews are from people that don't have pictures on their profile picture on their account, right? So
Yep.
just take stuff with a grain of salt and just understand that you can take negative criticism and use it towards a positive, just so that you can understand that it's you versus you at all times. And if you get mad at a certain like write up or something like that, you didn't know about that 5 minutes before reading it, so just pretend it wasn't there.
Right. I always say too, we do open ourselves up, especially as creatives. When you put, your art online, you put yourself online, and you put yourself out there. With that, you open that door of, projections, of opinions, and everybody got one, y'all. But at the end of the day, the only opinion that truly matters is the opinion you have about yourself. So
Exactly.
follow that and stick with that. But truly appreciate you sharing those gems and just the conversation today. You dropped a lot of just like story and experience that resonates with me, but I know for everyone tuning in live, and then also everyone that's going to catch the replay, they're going to be like, oh yeah, I understand exactly what y'all are talking about. So we did have a few questions that came in. So just looking on Instagram real fast. One of the questions that came in was, how did you handle the no's and the failures in the beginning before you had a team?
It's a great question. Honestly, still, like, even recently, just you have such big, for me personally, and I know people are the same, but it's like such big goals and dreams, and you want to reach this huge level, but it's really kind of doing. Not a lot of people in this life are able to do what they love as a career, and wake up and go and do something. So even if you're working another 9 to 5 and trying to support yourself, it's just working towards a dream that you want to see fulfilled, and have it as a real life experience. So knowing that you wanted, for me personally, knowing that I wanted to do this, it's like I won't, once I start something, I won't stop until the goal is reached. And then once it's reached, there's the next one that's created, and it just continues and continues and continues. So when I first started my platform, people around me even told me that it's not the right thing. It's crazy to go into music. What do you know about music? You're just a music fan. And I was like, whatever. I was able to zone out and really kind of go into a world of motivation, because I was doing something that I enjoyed, that didn't have anybody kind of telling me this and that and this and that. I just put the headphones on, listened to the music, and then a motivation and drive was created. So it's really kind of, you just have to tell yourself that this is going to work, and never let outside noise really persuade you to stop, because years go down the road and it works. People are going to say, listen, you were right and I was wrong, and I'm sorry for not believing in it, and at that time it might be cool to hear, but it doesn't matter, because all that matters is that you told yourself this is going to work, and you believe in it. And the most beautiful thing is seeing something through and having it the flowers bloom, right? So until that goal is there, never give up on yourself. And if you believe something is right with that you're doing, then continue doing it, and whatever is meant to be will be. So if it happens, it happens. If not, you tried your best, and really that's all that matters. Give your 110%.
Gems, dropping gems. That resonates with me so much. Jeez, because I feel like I said I'm at the beginning at so many things, and for what, I'm still in year one of building, and part of being an entrepreneur is like, you got to get really good at loving the no's. So there are a lot of quote unquote no's within the journey. I just see me though, because I'm relentless. I just believe in no's or not right nows. So that's just how I live my life. So I'm just like, okay, no, okay, next. Like, you just kind of keep working on it, and you keep pushing day by day. So no, you're dropping gems. If anyone else has a question, feel free to use the comment boxes on YouTube, Twitter, or Instagram. I am checking those. before we close out today's chat with Alex. Another question that came in was what, I guess, for your playlist, what's currently on repeat for you? Who are you listening to right now? Any songs or artists that you're like, oh yeah, on repeat?
That's a good question, actually. Let me check.
What was that? Alex is checking the playlist, y'all. Y'all gonna find straight from the source.
Let's see. Let's see. Recently played a lot of Black. I like the song "Tit for Tat." La Russell, Kevin Gates, Party Next Door's new album is really good. I revisit Bryson Tiller's debut a lot. I like that album a lot.
Ooh,
A lot of Key Glock, Lil Wayne, of course, Drake, Nipsey Hussle, rest in peace.
heavy hitters, yeah.
There's so many. Big X The Plug. That's my go-to now when I'm in the gym. Music goes crazy.
Yeah,
Jay
I
Shakur.
haven't heard a lot from him just yet. I gotta check out his discography more.
I've never met him or have any connection, but that guy's next up. Wow, there's so many. I could shout out everybody.
What is the name of everybody?
John River from Toronto, Wally from Canada as well. Jordan Ward, sick. There's so many people.
Yeah, I'm
JID,
gonna follow up with you after. You're gonna have to send me a list. I'm like, I recognize most of them, but I'm like, there's a few on there that I gotta check out.
Oh, absolutely. I've been trying to get into more of the R&B side though recently. Relax a little bit, because then you listen to a lot of like loud music, then you start driving a little bit different. But the R&B, you're relaxed. You're
bumping a little too hard. Yeah, no, I love it. Obviously, I know that your platform, hip hop, is a genre that you love and that you're passionate about the space. I'm the same way. I love hip hop, obviously, through and through, but I've been on my Afro beats kicks lately.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I just listen to Tim's all the time. Like, me and her,
sick. Yeah,
we're just in this relationship, and it might be unhealthy, but I will listen to that playlist all day.
Oh, for sure.
Song. Let's go back. I gotta listen to it again. This is why people are like, Jazz, when are you gonna do a playlist update? And I'm like, my issue is I cannot get off what I'm listening to finish my playlist. Basically,
that's good though, because so many people listen to music and it's like the attention span for how many times you can play a song is so short. So if you can replay it nonstop, then that's timeless.
Timeless. That's what we're on over here. And me, like the artists I work with, it was very intentional. I was already a fan of their music first. So the relationship just established more organically. But I was like, even for Pat, I was like, I've been listening to your discography every day for like almost 2 years. So this just feels right. So like when those relationships make sense of like, oh, let's lock in deeper. I'm like, one, I love your music. I listen to your music all the time. But also, too, like, I truly believe great music is timeless. And I want to encourage every artist to view your music as such. There's an artist, I don't know if you've checked out his discography, Piff Marty.
No, I have to tap in. I'm going to look up now.
His music, and it's great for your workout. He got a little gig and a step. Love Piff. Piff is one of my favorites. And I love him so much because he continues to amplify his music that came out like a year or two ago every day. Like the songs like I was like, oh my gosh, I was obsessed 2 years ago. He's still amplifying the music like it's just new because it is to somebody, So my thing is like the music and like why I love creative. And I understand like why artists feel frustration of quote unquote content. But yes, and that. But that's a whole other pet peeve. But it's like also those things like your music is new to so many people every time you post. Like you're only cheating yourself by not showing up as much as you can consistently. Like, right? And we know, like, coming from the content space of like, it doesn't have to be expensive. You can go shoot in front of a wall. You can shoot at the gas station. Sure. You can shoot in the middle of the damn car wash. Go outside, pick up your phone, because most of y'all got iPhones, and just shoot something. But like,
you don't need the craziest camera in the world. It's literally social media. So the quality, like on Instagram and TikTok especially, I think like even if you have like a 4K video, it brings the quality down to like 1080p or something. So it's like And you can edit everything on your phone. So it's like the amount, and if I didn't have a phone or internet, I wouldn't have been with any of this, right? So it's crazy how much you can actually do with like a device, like this thing can connect me to the other part of the world, and then with just one little.
Yeah. No, I appreciate you so much, Alex, one, for just the gems you shared and also highlighting your story, your experience building the hip hop guru, everything that's coming next. I know I'm super, super excited for the Sad Boy interview coming. So selfishly, I'm gonna say I have been listening to Sad Boy over and over for a while. So
She's super cool. Funny enough, I actually recorded it right here. This is the
what?
spot we did it at. Yeah.
What? See, look
It's
at
fun.
that. No, I'm so excited for that one to come out, and I can't wait to catch it. We're a little over the hour, and we're gonna reserve your time today, and close out this conversation. But truly wanted to say once again, just thank you so much for sharing time and space with us today. Truly
No, thank
means the
you.
world. Before we end this stream and let all of our live viewers go back to their evenings, can you let the people know where they can find you, where they can follow, where they can support?
No, absolutely. So on all socials, my user is Stainless Real, and then the brand is THH like the hat. See the hat? These are new. Got
Yeah, I've
these.
seen that hat. I'm gonna get me one soon.
We have hold on. We have green as well. Special limited
Yes.
edition.
Oh, I need
So
that green one. I don't have a green hat.
no, this is perfect.
No,
See the
no, I'm
quality?
gonna
See the
get my.
quality?
Yeah, I know. Look at that quality. It's almost hat season for me. I know for the men, it's maybe all year round. For me, I rock my hats in the summer when I get my hair braided. So it's hat season. So I gotta get some new hats. So no,
I'm gonna
y'all
have to send you
truly,
one.
please do, please do. You know I'll rock it. Yeah, no, I'm sure y'all probably got other merch coming out eventually soon too. So I'm gonna keep an eye out. I always try to support artists and platforms and just show love. But once again, truly appreciate you joining us, Alex, today.
No,
We're
thank
going to
you.
close out this episode. All the UNE insiders who joined us live today, thank you so much for showing up. Thank you so much for sharing space with us. Always appreciate everyone tuning in, and for everyone catching the replay, thank you for tuning in later. If you have any feedback about this episode with Alex, please let us know. I've been loving to get your feedback, getting your love. It's been a great time. Look, man, I need to get a picture. Hold on now. Hold on. Let me get a picture. They're like, Jazz, this girl doing a little too much. Hold on, y'all. Perfect.
Oh, and I
It
got.
just did these little things on my end. There we go. Got
There we
it.
go. That's
Cool.
crazy.
I got a clip for my vlog later. Look, see y'all. I'm
Do
creating
I have
content.
another one? Oh, why does that happen?
Why am I not doing it to me?
Oh, you gotta double peace sign for true peace. There we go.
See, like, technology don't like me, y'all. So it loves Alex. We're celebrating Alex here today anyway. But we're gonna close this conversation out. Thank you guys once again for joining us live, and we will be back next month with another episode. Bye, y'all.
Thank you.